Today I'm going to talk to you about the seemingly impossible but apparently true connection between the gaming community and the anti-social justice movement.
This is a world premiere. This is a world.
So before I jump in, I want you all to know that I'm not an anti-gamer person. I don't even know if that term is still being used by people, but I am someone who likes video games. Apologies if that's offensive to anyone. I definitely, if I was someone who had more time on my hands and more resources, I would definitely spend more time playing video games. Now, why am I talking about this? Following my recent video about Unnatural Vegan and her kind of stance against both intersectionality and social justice, I thought it might be useful to look at where this anti-social justice sentiment might be coming from. So I did a little research, and I was surprised to find out that a lot of this anti-social justice sentiment was growing out of the gaming community. That there was a time until very recently that being considered a social justice warrior was a badge of honor. It was considered somebody who was really committed to seeing equality in the world, someone who was really committed to seeing the rights that we all have manifesting themselves equally in the lives of everyone. Where did things go wrong? So it seems like things took a negative turn back in early 2013 when an independent game developer, Zoë Quinn, released a game called Depression Quest. It was an interactive fiction browser game, and the game was met with positive reviews in some gaming media, but some backlash developed among those who believed it had received undue attention. It was followed by a year of attacks on Quinn, the developer, with threats against her, threats of murder, threats of rape. They even engaged in something called doxing, which is where you release someone's personal information like their home address and encourage people to harass them in their home. Here's a threat that was posted to the website 4chan. Next time she shows up at a conference, she could expect a crippling injury that's never going to fully heal. I'd say brain damage, but we don't want to make it so she ends up too retarded to fear us? I mean, what kind of crap is that? So if things weren't bad enough, in August of 2014, Zoe's ex-boyfriend, Aaron Yoni, posted to his blog about his relationship with Zoe, saying that she'd basically slept with people to advance her gaming career. This basically released a shitstorm, giving Zoe's haters the ethical grounds that they needed just to kind of come out guns a-blazing against her. It turned out that there really was no connection between the affair that Zoe had had and her getting some positive feedback in the media regarding her game. What it did seem to show is that there was just resistance within the gaming community, which is pretty guy-centric, and having not only a woman game designer coming in, but a woman game designer coming in and designing a game that really wasn't to the taste of the folks who kind of considered themselves the gatekeepers. They even created the hashtag Gamergate and continued these threats on Zoe and anyone who came out in her defense. Now here things get a little bit complicated. Apparently a plan was hatched around a feminist group called the Fine Young Capitalist, who were sponsoring a game jam. A game jam is a gathering of people for the purpose of planning, designing, and creating one or more games within a short span of time, usually ranging between 24 and 72 hours. Now, 4chan's Politics Forum pitched the idea of donating money to the Fine Young Capitalist. The idea took hold, and for days, 4chan was the #1 supporter of the Fine Young Capitalist. The 4chan group then convinced the Fine Young Capitalist to allow the 4chan group to create a character for the game. They created Vivian James, a character masquerading as a feminist icon. The character Vivian James becoming basically a female sock puppet for the anti-feminist movement amongst gamers. So these Gamergate supporters subjected others to similar harassment, doxing, death threats, and those who came to the victim's defense were ridiculed as white knights or social justice warriors. So was it fair for individuals in the gaming community to go after Zoë basically for creating a game they didn't like? So if a woman does create a game and then finds herself under attack by the gaming community, did she really have the right to create that game? What message does that send to people who might want to think outside of the box, or to other women? And if people in the gaming community don't come out in support of that person who's under attack, what message does that send? What if advertisers are willing to pull their ads from any voices that speak out against misogyny in the gaming community? This actually happened as Intel pulled their ads from an e-zine because they published an article talking about misogyny in the gaming community. And it seems that social media is still receiving backlash from the Gamergate movement. I mean, is it possible that I might come under attack for even making this video about it? So when we use social justice warrior in the negative sense, we're kind of paying homage to some pretty shitty behavior, if you ask me. What basically started as cyber bullying from a few gatekeepers who were fighting to protect their own turf has turned into a rallying cry for people against a movement that is really there to stand up for the rights of others. If you're interested, I'm going to include a timeline and a bunch of articles in the description box below. That's it for this video. Like it if you like it. Share, comment, subscribe. This is Reg signing off. Love yourself. Peace.
And I love myself. The world is a ghetto with big guns and